how was the experience of doing MBBS from China, specifically the language barrier part of, like, you have to interact with the people over there, and the barrier of language that exists, like,
Yeah,
you didn't have any
yeah,
knowledge of Chinese language. So how
yeah,
did you tackle that hurdle, and how
yeah.
was that experience?
Okay. So basically, when I went to China, I did course of Chinese Mandarin for 6 months, and then when I started my medical degree as well, they have a program for 6 months to 1 year. It lasts for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
That they have 2 or 3 subjects of Chinese which they teach to
Okay.
make sure that you can communicate out there.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you I lived there for 7 or 8 years, but still I'm not very fluent in Chinese. It's a difficult language. I mean, you are away from Chinese, you forget to write, you forget to read, you forget to speak. I mean, I've been away for almost 2 years now, and I'm not sure. Sometime I'd see, because Chinese community there are many people from China here in Canada. So when I see them, I just they just start speaking and it just comes to me. But you just forget when you're away. But I mean, it's fine. I have seen students face difficulties
Mm-hmm.
due to the language barrier, but when they are in the medical college, they don't really get to spend a lot of time out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a very hectic schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we had classes from 8 a.m. to 12, and then we had 2 hours lunch break, and then from 2 to 5, and then the lab in the evening from 7 8 something 8:30. So they just spend time within their own community, like Pakistani community, Indian, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka,
Mm-hmm.
in the dorm, in the hostel. They couldn't really go on the weekends. They could go outside, but I mean, I've seen students in these 6 years who couldn't really see the city which they were living in.
Okay.
They only saw the campus area and the surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, students survive.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
how was the quality of education
Yeah.
over there?
Okay. Ali bhai, that I was, I'm not
Because
sure
most of
it
the
will become
pre-med students are
controversial or not.
kind of skeptical uh, when they are looking
Yeah.
for options of
Yeah.
doing MBBS from abroad.
Yeah.
So, what was your experience like?
Okay. So I'll mention one video here which have been going viral recently of Dr.
Hmm.
Afan from Multan. I'm not sure if you have seen
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So he criticized the students who I haven't really seen that. I was just looking at the title and I've seen FMGs take some legal action and all
Hmm.
that. I mean, it really depends on the person who is going there to study.
Hmm.
Like I'll be very I'll be very transparent here. Uh, the college I joined when I thought I should go for medical degree. The college I joined was very strict, very good quality of education.
Hmm.
But I didn't want that kind of quality. I wanted a bit independence. I
Okay.
wanted some time for me. Okay,
Hmm.
so he wants to study and who just wants to gets the degree and also explore the opportunities around.
Hmm.
So I studied in that college for 2 years. I just I made my mind that I'm not for this college. I have to change, and then I transferred to another. First I was in Wuhan, and then I changed to Xi'an city in Shaanxi province.
Hmm.
So I would say it really depends on the person who is going there to study. I have multiple friends who topped, who have cleared USMLE Part 1,
Hmm.
who never spent money in China. They always got the scholarships from university and they cleared their PMDC or PMC exam within the first attempt. I
Okay.
have already mentioned they have cleared their USMLE and now they are preparing for Canada and Australian exam.
Okay.
So it really depends on the person. I wasn't the very talented one who could just absorb all that quality of education, and I just went for the other school where I knew okay, they are lenient, they are okay, you can just pass exams and you can be fine.
Okay.
So I went for that college in my third year, but for 2 years I struggled in that, in the strict one as well.
Okay.
And the graduates coming from that college would be high quality graduates. and now they are serving in the medical field in Pakistan. Multiple graduates are serving in Allied Hospital, Faisalabad. Some are in Jinnah, in Lahore.
Hmm.
I mean, they're everywhere. So it, I would just say it depends on the person.
Okay, this is a really interesting. So please tell us about the
Yeah.
total expenses of doing MBBS from China. Like most of the students who go abroad, they definitely have some financial constraints because they
Yeah.
are definitely not affording the private medical education here in Pakistan, so they prefer going abroad. So what's the total breakdown of
Yeah.
expenses of doing MBBS from China?
Okay. So when I went to China, the Chinese currency was around 14 or 15 Pakistani rupees.
Okay.
Right now it is around 41 or 41, 42 rupees.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lot
Hmm.
difference, right? If I talk in Chinese currency, I would say the annual fee is around 20,000 Chinese currency RMB, which is
Hmm.
called 20,000 to 25,000, depending on the college. It includes the dormitory annual fee, it includes your tuition fee, it includes your any registration or insurance or anything relevant to the university. Other than that, you students usually spend around I would say around $100 to $200 a month
Hmm.
for their cooking expense, for their just chilling out with friends or whatever. Just $100 to $200 you would consider. If I talk about the annual fee in dollars, it would be 3,000 or 3,200, $3,500. That's the annual fee.
Okay.
But the first years is a bit expensive because agents charge their fee as well.
Hmm.
Some universities deal with the students directly, but those universities are very expensive.
Okay.
The cheaper ones, they usually have the agents who deal with those universities. So if you go through the agent, you'll be paying around $2,000 on top of your tuition fee. If the annual fee is $3,000, you will be paying 2,000 extra on top of that for the first year,
Okay.
because there's a chain of agents. You're dealing with the fourth, fifth person, then the 2,000, that $2,000 divides between all those five persons. So I mean, do your research before choosing the agent. Try to choose the direct one, or try to deal with the university directly
Hmm.
if you have the option.
Okay.
So overall expense, I would say for 5 years, how much would it be? $15,000, 15 to 20,000 dollars,
Okay.
right? And 6 year internship fee depends. Some universities, some colleges, they do charge the internship fee.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter you're doing your internship in Pakistan or China, they do charge their fee. Some
Okay.
universities they don't. Some universities they charge 50% of the fee.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
So plus I would always recommend that student does their internship in Pakistan rather than in China, because in China, due to the language barrier, they don't get to learn a lot.
Hmm.
And in Pakistan, I mean, they are the who they are the main person in doing everything. They're
Hmm.
right house officer and the intern. So
Exactly.
yeah, I would always recommend it. Yeah.
Okay. So do students have the opportunities of doing part-time jobs while they are studying there? So just to cover their expenses,
Okay.
or does this
Yeah.
require a special kind of visa?
Uh, It doesn't really require a special kind of visa. Recently, there have been changes in the policies, and the government has allowed international students to do part-time job only if they get the permission from their university. If university office, international office allows student to find job in the campus or around the campus, if they allow, then one can do job legally.
Hmm.
Otherwise, 90% of the students do the job illegally. I mean, they find the opportunities and they cover their tuition fee, which I won't really recommend. I have done that myself as well. I have seen my friends, I have seen my relatives. I mean, everyone does that, but of course I won't recommend, because there was a case uh, in one of our senior.
Hmm.
It happened, the police chased him down. He ran, and
Okay.
then they deported him, and then he just he just uh, had some issues, and then he went to China again after a few years to complete his degree. So I won't really recommend, but people do their jobs, and to afford the expenses and everything.
Okay, great. So after you were done
Yeah.
with the studies well apart, so you came back to Pakistan and got done with the house job. So how was that experience like? And you have already observed the young doctors working in the field. So what are some of the challenges
Yeah.
being faced by the young doctors, especially the FMGs, because they have to clear a
Mm.
special test? Like, I'm not sure what's the name
Yeah.
of that test. Like, what are some of the difficulties
Yeah.
being faced by the FMGs
Yeah.
particularly?
Okay, so I went back to Pakistan during COVID. I thought I'm going for a week, but then the China went into the lockdown, and then I had to stay in Pakistan for almost a year and a half or 2 years almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then I graduated. I was in Pakistan when I graduated, and as I mentioned, after the graduation, I started the process for Canada. So I went. I did join hospital, but I only went for a week, and after a week, I resigned.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll definitely mention the reason of the resignation and all. You asked me what are the challenges, what are the reasons, or what are the issues FMGs face during their house jobs or in their field life.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest issue is the salary. They don't get anything. They don't get any pay or anything during their house job. I know Pakistani graduates, they do get stipend of 75, 80,000 rupees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Around that somewhere.
Yeah.
And FMGs, they don't get anything. I mean, at that phase of life, at that age, they are hesitant to ask their parents, their siblings for the money, for gas money, petrol money.
Mm-hmm.
matlab, I have seen some of my friends struggle through that phase. I have seen multiple friends who have dropped their house job and they thought, okay, we'll move to China again to make some money and then we'll complete our house job. So I really think government should look into that. They should at least provide some stipend so the FMGs can cover the gas money to commute to the hospital, to travel to the hospital at least,
Mm-hmm.
or afford their meals, their lunch. I mean, that is a problem most of the FMGs is facing. Um, it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
A test and all that isn't a big issue because most of the FMGs, they do clear the test in their most of. I mean, I've seen in my circle most of them cleared in first or second attempt. It's I in these days it is called NRE or NLE. I'm not really sure,
Okay.
but the stipend, I would say government should look into that, because right now if we see in every hospital, in every ward, you find FMG, right?
Okay.
Everywhere you find Chinese graduate or Russian graduate, and you can easily, I mean, when you interact with them, you can easily see the quality of education they have.
Mm-hmm.
uh, if they are clearing the licensing exam in first attempt, it means
Capable enough, right?
they are good enough,
Mm-hmm.
capable enough to, and then they should get some stipend at least, because
Mm-hmm.
I've communicated with multiple of my friends. They have been going through this phase, so that is the most challenging thing
Chale.
people are facing. Plus,
Mhm. Let's
yeah,
let's
yeah,
let's hope that the policymakers pay heed to this matter.
I really hope so.